Hey Rudy, how are you doing?
Hi, Enrique. Good. How are you?
Good. Well, thank you so much for making time for this Mercy update. So I have two questions to ask you regarding our homeless outreach. The first one is, how do you got involved in this ministry?
I was involved at a homeless outreach at my previous church also, and I think it just started with a desire to reach kind of a maybe neglected group of people who normally are often just ignored or looked down on. And for me, it just reflects the gospel very clearly that we treat them just like we treat anybody in the service on a Sunday morning. Is the goal. So that was the desire. And as when I got to 10th, I don't remember how I actually heard. I think I saw the fellowship Bible study, the Sunday, um, the weekly Sunday outreach. I saw that in the bulletin or something, and just showed up. Basically, I went downstairs when they were doing the lesson um, and the teaching, and I just joined in. Just sat and watched. Basically, so getting involved can begin just with showing up and kind of seeing how things work. It's pretty easy. And then there's people are involved at varying levels. So um, as you see desire and place where you fit in, you can serve as much or as little. If for people who want to get involved, yeah, it's pretty easy.
Okay, so now could you tell us a little bit about how is a normal Sunday when we do our homeless outreach, especially these days that we're doing it outdoors in front of the church, and finishing your experience teaching and your interactions with our guests?
Sure. Yeah, so it might help to know that normally this what we're doing on Sundays now is kind of reflect is sort of copying what we regularly do downstairs in the catacombs before COVID. There's a weekly Bible lesson and time of hymn singing and then meal. Now we've been doing that outdoor on the front steps of the church. It starts at noon on Sundays. Kind of a funny story about that. We got drenched a couple weeks ago with the canopies. I had just taught on God is our refuge, um, and then we're all huddling underneath these canopies. And two of the guys who had just sat and heard the lesson, they look at me and they point up. They're like, "Refuge," and I was like, "Yeah." So the lesson stuck. That's totally unrelated, but we set up the canopies and we set up the tables and we start feeding at noon. Um, and we just try to encourage the people to stay for the lesson. Basically, as they gather, I go over and welcome them and encourage them to stay for the lesson after they get their food. And then lesson goes maybe 30 to 45 minutes, and we then tear down afterwards. Yeah.
Great. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank you and to tell you how much I appreciate your ministry among us. And thank you for making time for this interview.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to help. Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah, thanks, you too.